He said we're right on him. Without missing a beat, you'll drop your line down to 42 feet. If you don't screw up, it won't be long. Someone in this boat's gonna sing Fish On. Fish on, fish on. Do it by the boat, don't take too long. Set the hook, reel it in strong. Fish on, fish on.
Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're broadcasting near the mouth of the Deschutes River, and I'll tell you what, this is ground zero for some of the best salmon fishing people have seen in years. With us here to tell us more about a summer of salmon people won't soon forget is Bruce Warren. He's the owner of Fishing for Fun Guide Service. Bruce, I understand you just got off the water with a bunch of fish for your clients.
Absolutely, John. It's been a fantastic run so far. We just got 5 in the box today, and we've been doing very, very, very well. Super easy to do. Just we got to go out there in the water and get her done.
So this is all fall Chinook. And how big do these Chinook salmon get, and how many have come over Bonneville Dam so far?
Well, an average Chinook is about 15 to 20 pounds, but they can get bigger, so you have to bring your gear, and you have to gear up for those bigger fish. But hey, when you got 600 to 800,000, that's right, coming over the dam, that's going to be a blast. Almost guaranteed to catch fish.
You know, just about every guide I've talked to has said this is the best fishing that they've seen in 20 years. And folks, this is a fishery that you don't necessarily need a guide. Now, if you don't have a boat, you're going to need a guide. You're going to need a friend who's got a boat and knows what he's doing. But some of you out there have a boat, and I want to turn our attention to how to go about doing this. For those people who want to go give this a shot, head out to the mouth of the Deschutes River on the Columbia, right off the Oregon border. Let's go ahead and break it down. What's the main method you're using to catch these Chinook?
Well, there's two main methods, John. First of all, we're using hover fishing. And what that is a very easy, simple technique. It involves a little bit of feel and your good quality eggs, and you're set.
So go ahead and break down for me exactly how hover fishing works. So somebody listening on the radio, when we're done, they'll know exactly what to do.
You bet. Well, first of all, you need a good quality rod and a good quality reel. And you can go away with a little bit less expensive ones, but I run Lima Glass rods, and they're absolutely perfect for what we do. These are a 12 to 25 pound test. We run a 5500 reel on them. We do line counters, but you don't have to. And we run braided line, 40 pound test braided line on there. And then we'll sit down there and we'll tie it off. We'll put a slider on our line, main line, for our lead, and then we'll put a simple swivel on there, and we'll run about 3.5 to 4 feet a leader to a 2-aught hook. Make sure your leader's about 20 pound test. Tie a bumper knot or an egg loop on your hook, and you're set. All you need then is quality eggs.
All right, so let's talk weight. Let's talk depth. How deep are we fishing? How much weight do you need to go ahead and stay on the bottom?
Well, the depth is very, very easy to do. It's only 13 to about 28 feet. That's what we're fishing at, and that seems to be where the fish are at. 2 ounces is absolutely perfect. High wind today, and 2 ounces held us down just fine.
There is something about the feel, though. I mean, I've done this before with Doug Allen. He's a pro staffer for Max Lure, just like you are. And the guys in the boat I was with, they had, for lack of a better term, wooden hands. You know, they just didn't sense that bite. I mean, you've got to be sensitive to what's going on there. And when you feel something, you got to set the hook right away, don't you?
Absolutely. You've got to really watch your rod tip, because what happens is these fish will literally pick up your bait and you won't know it. So watch your rod tip. That's why we have the sensitive tip rods. Pick it up and set the hook. If you feel something, it may be a chub, it may be a 25-pound Chinook. Set the hook hard and hang on.
We're talking to Bruce Warren. He is the owner of Fishing for Fun Guide Service. He's got a website, fishingforfunguideservice.com. You can also call him at 253-208-7433. We've talked about hover fishing for Chinook. Let's talk about something else. You can't always do this. Sometimes, you know, especially here in the gorge, it gets windy. And sometimes the current's running hard too, and it's difficult to do this method of fishing. I'm guessing plugs is the other way to go.
You bet. We can either troll them or you can anchor up and fish them that way. Right now, the last couple of days here, the current has been very mild, so we're not having to worry about anchoring up. So our next best bet would be trolling. You put on your favorite plug, be it Wiggleworts are very popular, the 3.5 mag lips and the 4.5 mag lips. Wrap them up with your favorite sardine wrap, herring wrap, whatever you like, and troll those. Some people will do a long line. Some people will run them off a dropper with their weight on it, so they keeps them more under control and more underneath the boat. Either way will work. I recommend putting a little weight on them and getting them underneath the boat so you're out of the way of other boaters.
Let's go ahead and talk about colors. I mean, it's easy with the hover fishing. You're using egg colors, and you're using reddish purple. Sometimes you'll dye them. I understand that. But when it comes to the plugs, is there any colors that seem to work better than others?
Well, you can't go wrong with anything with chartreuse on it and chrome. Then when it gets sunny out, which it does here often in the gorge, a little bit of blue on there helps too. And then there's the all-time favorite, the good old green fire tiger. That thing will show up in any kind of weather, any kind of water, and it flat catches fish.
So we've broken down how to catch these fall Chinook, but I guess we ought to point out, the mouth of the Deschutes, that's where it's happening right now. But you can catch these fish using these techniques at a lot of different places up and down the Columbia River. What are some other places, as we're at the end of September, heading into October, that you'd recommend people try?
Well, right now we're in between the Bonneville Dam and the Dalles Dam. So we've got 3 rivers here. We've got white salmon, we've got the Klickitat, and we've got the Deschutes. All are holding fish right now. Our choice this time was the Deschutes. But then once they get up above the Dalles Dam, you've got other situations up there. John Day will hold these fish and other river mouths further up. What happens is the Columbia is very warm this time of year, and these fish need to cool off a little bit. So they go into these river mouths that come in that push cooler water in there, and they cool off, and then they'll take off again. And that's where you intercept them at.
Interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about something else, though, because, the Kings, they are starting to move out of the lower Columbia right now, but folks, don't worry, because there's another species of fish coming. The coho. Tell me about this run.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Some of the most acrobatic fish you'll ever want are these coho. They will jump, they will roll, they will fight. They'll make a summer steelhead look like a big weenie.
And I love summer steelhead. You're hurting my feelings here, but I agree. Coho, they are the bomb. They are an awesome fish to fight. They're an awesome fish to catch. They come in good size as well. When is this run coming through, and can you use the same techniques?
Well, the run is starting to come through right now. It's coming through the lower Columbia, always right behind the Kings. There's still a good fishery going on, even at Astoria right now, until about the first part of October. And then when we get the first big winds or the first big rains, they'll start moving up. So you got the Cowlitz, Lewis, Kalama, all of those rivers will start getting their coho, and then all the way up the river. So here in between the Dalles Dam and the Bonneville Dam, you've got these 3 river mouths. Guess what? The coho will be there. Just a matter of time.
All right. And again, we've had this just absolutely gigantic run of Chinook. Any idea what the forecast is for the coho?
Last I heard, it was a little over 500,000 coho coming up. And boy, that's a lot of fish.
In other words, folks, the good times are going to keep coming. So Bruce has given you the techniques you need to go out there and catch some of these. But if you want to learn from a pro like Bruce, go ahead and give him a call. Let's go ahead and give out the information for Fishing for Fun Guide Service so people can get a hold of you and book a salmon fishing trip.
Well, give me a call on the phone. That's the easiest. 253-208-7433. Or you can get me on the web at fishingforfunguideservice.com. And my email address is brucewarren@fishingforfunguideservice.com.
All right, that's fishingforfunguideservice.com. Again, fishingforfunguideservice.com, or give them a call, 253-208-7433, 253-208-7433. And by the way, Bruce can also take you fishing for steelhead and sturgeon as well throughout Washington State and the Columbia River system. Bruce, thanks for sharing all this with our listeners. I'm pretty sure you're going to help some of them come home with some fish in the cooler.
Well, that's the idea, is get these guys some fish, and maybe they'll talk to me about a guide trip.
Fish on, wind your line, got to make it whirl. You can't catch a king reeling like a little girl. You got fish on, oh fish on.